St. George's Episcopal Church and Center has started a pilot program with noted counselor Mr. Ignatius Wallace to deal with maladaptive behavior in at-risk and troubled youth. Mr. Wallace has been counseling minority teens and young adults since the 1960s. His achievements include work for the Palm Beach County School District and most recently as a recruiter for Morehouse College in Atlanta. The following is an interview with Mr. Wallace about his work and plans for helping Riviera Beach youth at St. George's.
So where did you grow up?
Right in West Palm Beach.
And what did you do after high school?
After that, I went to work doing paint and body because I learned that when I was in high school. And from there I got drafted in the military. Didn't stay in that long because of the injury. I was a college professor. My mother was a social worker. My family's always been involved in working with people in the community. And at doing that, I fell right in the shoes of what they were doing. Now, I started working school system. I used to work with the segregational problems, Palm Beach County school system. Then from there, I went into guidance called occupational specialist. My grandfather was a college professor. And what happened is when I got in the military, I was trying to find something to do because I couldn't go back and do paint and body. So I started working with the desegregational team within the school system when so-called integration came about. Then when I did that, a job came available called occupational specialist, working in guidance, working with dropouts, potential dropouts, trying to get them in school, trained for a job or a job. And from that point on, and my job was not to sit on the campus. My job was only, I was housed on a high school, but I was out in the community. And I was responsible for students in that geographical area, whether they came on campus or not. It was my responsibility. Sometime when I was at my 20s during the time, I used to come dressed in clothes to go play basketball. Because those kids, they didn't come on the campus, they was out there. Talk to them in whichever way they want to go, be it, if they say they wanted a job, I say, okay, what skills do you have? They had a skill, so therefore whatever occupation they wanted, then that was my way of channeling them for us in that area for us training for that.
What is the problem with youth in Riviera Beach?
Well, not just Riviera, but all over. One is there's no structure in the household. Then you got youth who are growing up, their parents maybe 10, 15 years older than them. A lot of them don't have a structure in terms of motivation to go to work or the skills are not where they have no skill. So the children growing up with the same thing.
What is it you think that they need or can help them improve?
Let me give you a case in point with young men. You ask a young man, and I do this from kids in elementary all the way up to high school. What do you want to do when you graduate from high school? Go to college? What you want to major in? Football, basketball? Tell young men you can't major in football and basketball. You want to play football and basketball, but you got to major in the subject. Now I fault that household, number one. Then I also fault the coaches in terms of them not educating these kids in terms of you may want to go to college, but you got to major in a subject in order to go. And I also tell them that if you major in a subject, the closest thing comes to sports major, sports management, phys ed, or sports agent. So this is something that they don't hear constantly in terms of that. I ask a young lady, what do you want to do? Pediatrician, teacher, lawyer, whatever. Something that's happened with society that the young ladies have it, but the young men don't have it.
What would you like to see developed at St. George's Center?
One is have youth come in. Once I get them in, I want to learn something about them that I don't know. Then I'm going to tell something about me that they don't know. Then with that, I go into a group psychotherapy type situation wherein they discuss what problems they have, and I don't have to answer all of it, but some other youth may have the same thing they're going through. Once they hear that, then they can find out how one remedied the problem they had. In other words, they're teaming off each other in terms of how this person solved that problem and that. Now, along with what I can do is, with them, I can point them in directions in terms of places that I know that would take them to further their education. Okay, I know some summer tutorial programs that I can get them towards that colleges have. Okay, I also know where another place that will take a kid a young person from 1st grade up to 12th grade, take care of the whole everything for them. Okay, and has improved once they get past 12th grade. Even if they want to go to college, they take care of those needs. But they have to be serious about what they want to do when they come to me, because I'm serious about what I'm doing with them.
How would you describe the need for a program for at-risk youth in the area around St. George's?
It's very critical, very critical. And I say any place, be it church or organization, whatever want to work with youth, there's a tons of works out here for them that need to be done. And I'm thankful that St. George want to do this type situation. I'm here to help them in terms of foster this and get this program started and turn out some positive kids.
And you just started here, but can you tell us a little bit about what you've seen just in the short time you've been here?
It's I'm gonna say you have a whole lot to describe. No motivation from the youth, no direction where they want to go. This is very critical and sad what's going on around here. On my way here even today, talked to a police officer, kids on the corner. He asked what time the school bus stopped because kids fighting on the bus stop. I did not know, but as I'm talking to him, he got another call where he had to rush where some kids were fighting somewhere else. Then along with that, on my way here, he was heading in one direction where I saw police all going in another area, fights there.
How important is it in the success of youth programs to have a mentor who can relate to the children or the teens?
It's very critical, because if you could turn, you know, when I worked in the school system at Suncoast years ago, the guidance coordinator said to us when I started an occupational specialist program, he said to us down the line, if you could save one, it's one more than we had. And I'm saying in my head at that time, oh, I know some of these kids' parents are, I know I can help more than one down the line. And as you're going down the line, you're going to do everything possible to change a lot of behavior. You're not going to change them all, but I'm going to work at it till I get those in there. And that's how critical it is in terms of trying to get it done.
Can you talk a little bit about how the previous experience that you've had in doing programs like this?
Okay, I run into students and grown people. I'll give you a case in point. There's one young man, I didn't even recognize who he was about a year ago. Came in my brother's restaurant, and I'm talking during my financial aid workshops and all, and he said, Mr. Wallace. I said, yeah. He said, remember me? He said, I'm not going to call his name. He told his parents, say, you sent me to school out in Texas, and now I have my master's. He said, I was city councilman in Riviera. He said, thank you for that. And you know, you don't look for these things happen, but down the line, these things hit you in the face every now and then. Okay, that's the reason why I do what I do. Not because he just went to college, but I had some go to vocational ed. I had some went to drug treatment program that changed around. I have a background in alcohol and drug abuse counseling, high school counseling. I work for the American Cancer Society. So, you know, I'm sort of spread. And if I can't find a solution here, I got avenues that I turn somewhere else in terms of trying to find a solution. So I get that all the time from people down the line that I don't even recognize down the line. Say, hey, remember when you fill out the financial aid form for me to go to school? I say, that sounds like something, you know. No.
You've described your approach in dealing with children and adolescents at risk as changing their behavior. Can you give a little more detail on that, what that means?
I've had youth, even adults, and I'm going to say when I was younger, okay, a young man just got out of prison. I saw him 3 days ago. I found out that he was getting out maybe about a month ago. And I'm standing up with the patrol lady in my neighborhood helping the younger kids. And I looked and I said, is that so-and-so? He looked around, right? He looked around. He came over and gave me a hug. Now, he was in prison this time 10 years, okay? I found out when he got, I know he's gone because I'm in and out of state all the time. He was in for 10 years for selling drugs. I went up to him and said, man, I'll choke you if I ever catch you. He said, Mr. Wallace, I'm not going to do it again. When he was a Jew, he got in some trouble, and I went and talked to the guy who was juvenile department, okay, and he had to go turn himself in, which he did, okay, and he served 5 or 6 months. But this kid was out maybe about 4 or 5 years on the run, right? When he turned himself in, he changed. He got welding and stuff. He got right out there with these guys out there and got involved in that drug situation, okay? And his behavior, I mean, he had been straight for about 15 years before he got back in that again. Okay, I got others down the line who didn't go back into it, okay, but they changed their behavior. And they remind me all the time, you remember when we were kids, and I was older, by the way. See, remember you used to always run about us about cursing, about doing certain things down the line. I said, yeah, that sounds like me. He said, man, I appreciate that. So I know I've changed behaviors down the line.
And you work with children and teens in groups and as individuals?
One-on-one or groups, anywhere I get them to come.
Do you find that one or the other is better, or both are necessary?
Well, all depends on the circumstance of the youth, what's going on. Some may fit in a circle type situation relating, some may one-on-one type situation. Also, with me working with the youth, I also work in the household in terms of changing behavior within the household. Because a lot of times, youth have problems in the household that make them act up. Let's say if there's an alcoholic in the household. So incidentally, I got alcohol and drug abuse training too. If a youth is having a problem on the outside, possibly something happening on the inside of that household. Let's say if mom or dad's drinking, that type of situation, a kid may be embarrassed. Particularly, there's a lot of fights and stuff like going on in the household. Kid may be embarrassed because of that. So they're gonna do one thing. They're gonna go out and act negative or act positive. Okay, kid may go be a perfect A student to get out of that situation. Kid may go out there acting up in terms of fighting or don't do work in school, that type of situation, as a rebel against that. So they can go either way. We hope that they will go the positive way in terms of the grade. Now, there have been many incidents when kids could be a perfect A student. And I'm glad they didn't put that title on me when I graduated high school, most likely to succeed, most likely that type of situation. Because when they put those titles on students like that, majority of them don't live up to that expectation. I'd rather have a scuffling student to work with them as opposed to a student that's making all A's and B's. Okay, because scuffling student know, once they get in that niche, know what they got to do, then they go ahead and do what they have to do.
All right, well, thank you very much.